Okay, hello and welcome to match 2 of the night. This is going to be a ZVP kicking off on Catalina. And our first player is ourselves a very own from Team Templar, Blue Zerg, Neuralisk. Oh, have custom. Oh, well, okay. We'll do it then next time. And
Neuralisk.
He is going to be playing against Green Protoss, spawning over in the 9 o'clock spawn. And currently teamless, but nonetheless formidable. It is
Triple T, InkedWarrior.
And InkedWarrior looks like he is going for a Forge Fast expand. And actually there's some cannon rush shenanigans coming down here, right in the back of Neuralisk's natural. Will he scout it in time? The pylon's finished, the forge is finished, but it looks like the Zerglings are getting down there and they spotted it. They see the probe and they shouldn't. I don't know if InkedWarrior is still going to try for some cannons here, which is really quite brave when he sees that there are already Lings out. That cannon, that cannon's going to be taken down by the 2 Zerglings. I mean, it looks like at the minute it's just going to be taken down by the 1 Zergling, but if Neuralisk sorts it out, it can. I'm pretty sure he can still take it down with the 1 Zergling, but he does need to sort his stuff out. There we go. And it's not going to finish, so this is a 100 mineral investment, or 100 and like, I don't know, 30. 100 and a bit mineral investment into that cannon. He has forced out, I think, a couple more Lings. I think those extra 4 Lings joining Neuralisk's forces right now to break down the pylon are ones he didn't really want to make. But still, it's okay. Neuralisk comes out a little bit ahead on that, and also because InkedWarrior went for the forge before his Nexus or anything, it's not like he has a big economic lead that he can rely on anyway. InkedWarrior, I don't think, has a 100% tight wall off here. This is quite a big gap for a probe to fill. So I think if Neuralisk really tries, he can squeeze some Lings past, but he will lose 3 of them to the cannon. And looks like he's just going to run up. See, there's a cannon there, and back right off down again. Although InkedWarrior is actually finishing off a 2nd photon cannon, so this is a pretty heavy investment into defense right here. But I don't know. We'll see. Let's see whether it pays off. It looks like at the minute Neuralisk isn't really planning any aggression, even the opposite, and planning a 3rd base right here. But I don't know. This. I mean, what this means is that InkedWarrior has invested 150 minerals into the cannon without really much need, because Neuralisk isn't going to be doing any kind of pressure that's going to be stopped by 2 cannons, not anytime soon anyway. They might become useful later on in stopping run-bys and just dealing with Mutalisks maybe even. But, yeah, I don't know. We'll see. For now, once InkedWarrior getting up, he's got 2... Actually, this is interesting. He's got 2 assimilators in his main, but still with only 2 probes in each, which is, this strikes me as quite late to still only have 2 probes in each assimilator. So this is pretty gaslight. It's almost certainly not a mistake. Yeah, he's putting in the extra 2. He's just timing his gas out really nicely, actually, and really well. He's been keeping it very, very low, and just putting the extra ones in as he sees the need. Adding on a couple extra gateways here. He's going to have to cancel that one to get his sentry out. There we go. So yeah, he's going to add on, looks like another gateway. There was another one queued up, but he's elected not to go for that. And a robotic facility, as well as the fact that he's crawling out warp gate, points towards aggression a little bit. However, he doesn't have any probes out on the map. He's not got any proxy pylons. So that, combined with the fact that there's some Lings parked outside his natural base, and he's being scouted, is going to make it a bit difficult to actually put any aggression on. If he can sneak a probe out without Neuralisk noticing, he'll be able to make use of this chronoed out warp gate that he's gotten a little bit fast. If not, the warp gate's really not going to do that much for him. I mean, the chronos spent on it would have been better spent on economy. Either way, I really like how fast Neuralisk has gone for Overlord speed. It means that there's really nothing InkedWarrior can do to deny this Overlord scouting around. He could be chasing it down with a sentry, but the Overlord would be jumping over walls. It would still get all the scouting information it needed, and would likely even still get out alive. So It looks like InkedWarrior is just sitting back for now. There could be some aggression in the future, but oh, how many gateways are going to be starting up here? There's 2, 3 on the way. Yeah, and it looks like InkedWarrior is going to be going for some aggression here, going up to 6 gateways, if I remember correctly. Yes, he will be going up to 6 gateways when these 4 finish up. He's getting a scout off. He's going to see everything Neuralisk has going for him, including the Hivelisk stent and the single Evo chamber. And I guess based on that, he's going to decide exactly how heavily he wants to commit to this Immortal all-in. Oh, actually, this is interesting. There's a robotics spray being added onto this as well. So this is not your standard Immortal Zealot or Immortal Sentry all-in. This is something a little different. Could be the 2 Immortal, 2 Colossus build that was so feared a little while ago. But I don't know. All the timings just seem a little bit out of sync to me. Like, InkedWarrior has cried out his Warp Gate and then not really done that much with it, other than had Warp Gate a little bit faster. And now all his gateways are finishing up, but he doesn't have the Immortals and Colossi, the tech he's invested into the robotic facility for to move out with. So, I don't know. Oh, wow. Okay. Is InkedWarrior might be the guy who just goes tons of Immortals and has loads and loads and loads of Immortals. I might be thinking of somebody else, but if it is, it's surprisingly effective. If it is him, he gets like 5 or 6 Immortals, and I mean, Immortals are actually not bad on anything. I mean, Marines are actually really, really good versus Immortals, but even so, Immortals, if they've got the tanking, still push out enough DPS to kill Marines really quickly, Hydralisks really quickly, despite the fact they don't take the extra damage from armored the Immortals dish out. Immortals just annihilate roaches. They're not super hot versus Lings, but the Zealots will cover that role more than admirably, especially given the fact that Neuralisk isn't going for, yet at least, isn't going for any defensive upgrades, whereas InkedWarrior actually has his +1 attack, which means that the Zealots are going to be 2-shotting rather than 3-shotting Lings, which is extremely powerful. Either way, Neuralisk is going to be searching around. This is just like normal proxy pylon locations. He wants to make sure he's safe against any kind of aggression, any funny business, because he saw all of these gateways coming down. He saw what looked like it was going to be aggression pretty imminently. Typically, you finish up your gateways and then you move in and attack. But InkedWarrior has gone for something a little different. He's got 2 Immortals out. He's going to be getting quite a few Colossi, actually. He's currently supply capped on another Immortal, but when he finishes his second Colossus, I imagine he'll move out with this and get his Warpins down. Does he have... He doesn't have a probe out on the map, but he can always bring one along. Looks like he's actually even just continuing to produce off those robos. And now this is getting really a little worryingly late, actually. Oh my god. I've just noticed 2 Spires in the production tab for Neuralisk, and actually Neuralisk is going to be moving up the ramp, which is really not something I think he wants to be doing versus these Colossi. He's going to pick off the Forge, but loses quite a few of his Roaches and Hydalisks. And I mean, InkedWarrior now doesn't have the Forge, doesn't have his +1 armor, but he's still got a very, very powerful army, an army which he's going to move out with, and I'm not sure how Neuralisk is going to match up against this. He's invested an incredible amount of gas into things that aren't going to be worth anything in the fight, the main fight he'll have against InkedWarrior's army. He's got his 2 Spires, likely not going to do much. If he can get some Corruptors out, they could be really, really helpful. His Hive shouldn't really do much. The +1 armor won't really do much. But InkedWarrior has been delaying a little. He moved out to the bottom of his ramp, sat down there for a little while, waited for a probe. He's going to move out. He's not going to wait for this proxy pylon to finish, which is a good choice. But he actually should save his probe. That's going to delay his push more and more and more. And the longer Neuralisk can delay it, the better it'll be for him. He's actually going to move forwards here a little bit prematurely, I think. And he does manage to force out a couple force fields, though, and only loses a Roach or 2 for his troubles. But these armor upgrades, these Sky upgrades are going to be great in like 10, 20 minutes or so, but that's not when Neuralisk needs to worry about. He needs to be worried about now, and actually it's a good engagement for him here. Trying to attack on 2 fronts at once, but the force fields are good enough to hold him off the Colossi for now, but a lot of the tanking for the Colossi is starting to fall. They're dealing out an incredible amount of damage, but all the gateways gone. It's just these robo units left over. The Colossi survive though, and they are going to be able to clean this up, though one of them will fall. And InkedWarrior survives this army, but there's going to be 8 Corruptors coming in on the Remax for that remaining Colossus, and then it'll just take a few more Roaches. Neuralisk can easily afford to sack a third base here, especially considering the reinforcements of InkedWarrior are coming from so far away. Imagine if these Stalkers were being walked in on the edge of creep and they would have arrived at the base now, rather than, having to be walked in this proton, which is all the way away. And Neuralisk moves in. He's going to take down this Colossus really easily. Gets a couple shots up on the Roaches, but, I mean, InkedWarrior is actually, with his Immortal and all the Roaches he's got, he's completely comfortable in how powerful his army is right against that small counter Roaches. Looks like Neuralisk is going to sack his third base, or he's going to lose his third base. I'm not entirely sure he wants to sack it, but it goes down anyway. And I don't know, Neuralisk is just getting a small Roach force cleaning up. Actually, the Broodlings from the hatchery are going to reduce the Immortal down to 3 health, but more and more reinforcements streaming for InkedWarrior do push Neuralisk back for now. Neuralisk has corruption on some of these Corruptors, which is going to help out a little bit, but I don't know, InkedWarrior might actually be going to make this work. It depends. He's backing off now. I think he just wants to get the third base, but honestly, I'm pretty sure he needs to get more than that. He's going to lose his Immortal for this as well. And Neuralisk is now still has that a fairly strong economic powerhouse. He's got lots of supply, lots of gas, lots of minerals, and lots of lava to make units with. But actually, Neuralisk is going to continue investing onto the late game. There's 3 Colossi out here, and they're easily going to be able to deal with everything Neuralisk has. And this may have been a bit of an overextension here by Neuralisk. The Colossi are going to... A lot of them are going to go down to the Corruptors, but there's enough Stalkers here that with how Neuralisk is splitting damage, most of these Corruptors have gone down. I don't know. I think Neuralisk got a little bit too aggressive there. Maybe if he invested in just pure units rather than these extra upgrades and waited for just a minute and gone then, maybe he could have made something work in that regard. But I don't know. I think he's okay though, given that InkedWarrior isn't actually attacking just yet. He's got his third base, transferring workers over. If he starts worker production, I think that's when we'll know that aggression is going to be gone for now. He could well be keeping up worker production with his bank. He could be keeping up worker production with his army production. I think that would be a great idea, because probes and pylons are all you need. And I don't know, the upgrades are being started back up by InkedWarrior. He's been sitting on +1 attack for a little while and wants to, he has better dreams than that. But Neuralisk already is going to have his +3 finished by about the same time as +2. He's already got same for his +2 armor. So Neuralisk has a great upgrade lead right now. He's even with his hive, he's actually even going to be able to keep this for quite a while. 4th base has been taken as well, and he can transfer units over there. And a couple of Vipers coming out are going to be the perfect answer to these Colossi. There's still no other real tech for InkedWarrior, especially given how hard he's committed to the Colossi with 2 robotics facilities. There's no Templar, which will answer the Vipers. There's no Void Rays, which answer pretty much everything. There's nothing really InkedWarrior has other than a decent Stalk Colossus. I mean, Stalk Colossus is pretty good in the mid game, but as the game goes on later, it becomes less and less viable as Stalkers scale off so hard against just about everything. Colossi, now that there are Vipers in play, 2 Vipers is more than enough to deal with this amount of Colossi. Neuralisk is actually going to run past with a couple of Lings. I like the idea to go for a counter-attack, but I don't like the idea to do it by running past InkedWarrior's army. A lot of the Lings went down there. Still, though, he's going to get into this this third base way before these cannons go down and do a lot of damage here. If he can catch the upgrades, that'll be a pretty big deal as well, because they're already so far behind. But it looks like he's just going straight for the drone line. I don't think there's any adrenal overload. No, there's no attack speed upgrade on these Lings. But they are going to take a fight against Zealots, and really, really good positioning on Zealots is going to help out a lot there. But now the Neuralisk is going to try and take the engagement. The Vipers are up, yoinking both the Colossi out. Colossi are in the middle of the Berserk army, exactly where they don't want to be, and they do both go down. But it looks like InkedWarrior, with his force fields, is going to be able to push on for now. Neuralisk, though, does have some blinding clouds to throw down. He could elect to do that. It's just going to yonk a Stalker. I think he was aiming for an Immortal there. The other Mortal does get yonked, but InkedWarrior actually might have enough Stalkers to just break through. Neuralisk has so much money and so few lava. He's got 10 out of the minute, but just without building anything from them, they're not going to do him much good. But it looks like his reinforcements are still going to be enough to actually clean this up finally in the end. without losing too much. He lost a lot of his army, but he didn't lose any of his important things. He didn't lose any tech, he didn't lose any econ, he didn't lose any bases, any production. GG, Neuralisk, with the damage dealt by his counterattack, wins the game. Welcome back to Overgrowth for Game 2 between InkedWarrior and Neuralisk. And what a game it's gonna be. InkedWarrior is actually doing something a little funky with his probe, but first up, let's introduce this player spawning up in the top right-hand corner. Going for a nice safe 14 pool and a nice safe green color. He is Zoe player
Neuralisk.
And his opponent spawning down here in the bottom left. It's going to be Orange Protoss, currently teamless and currently down 1-0 in this series. Still lots of room for a comeback. It is
Triple T, InkedWarrior.
So, yeah, InkedWarrior is actually his first scouting probe went out on somewhere around 10 or 11 and immediately went and hid itself up in the sort of top left-hand corner of the map. And I'm really interested to see what it's going to be for. If it's for proxy, damn it, now I look slightly less smart because I didn't say it quickly enough. If it's for a proxy, I would have expected the pylon to be built sometime around now, so it'll sync up with the cybercore finishing. And just to say that, the pylon appears in the production tab. And now the pylon's finished. What is going to be the tech? Likely Stargate, but we could see Robo as well. Proxy Robo is a little older, but really cool. Either way, this is a little worrying for InkedWarrior because he doesn't have a wall in, and Neuralisk has 6 lings, which are just going to saunter right into his base and begin working away on his gateway. Sorry, his cybercore even. So a big probe pool actually has to come out from InkedWarrior, and this is a really big deal because a lot of these probes are going to go down, and the lost mining time alone is worth quite a lot here. So 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 probes gone down. Not the end even, and wow, nice little micro by Neuralisk at the end there, just take that last one out. And yeah, looking at the units lost, 8 probes for 6 lings is a trade I will take any day of the week. And I imagine most Zoe players would say the same, and especially this early on in the game, where InkedWarrior would have had so much time out of those drones mining, and he's going to go back to his proxy. He's actually going to put down a Twilight Council. I wonder whether this was his original plan, or whether he wanted to do. He's now thinking when behind. Well, you all know what the next 2 words are, and I don't know. We'll have to see. I mean, a Stargate. Proxy Stargate is the more typical choice for a proxy building, but I would have thought with a proxy Dark Shrine it would have been put a little less far away from his base and a little more of a sort of hidden location, because that's where the pylon is right now. It's a really nice position for hiding production tech, hiding a Stargate or a Robo, because it's still pretty close to your opponent's base. For hiding tech like a Dark Shrine or a Twilight Council, if it's just for Blink, say, I kind of prefer it just being a little more out the way, somewhere like to the left or to the right of one of the Xel'Naga towers, if you're talking about the probe one. It is for a proxy Dark Shrine. So one behind Dark Shrine is, of course, the mantra of all good Protoss players. And InkedWarrior is taking it to heart. Looks like he's going to be going for... I mean, as fast DT as he can get in the situation, but this is still going to be a bit of a problem because 3-gate DT can hit at about 5 minutes, and this is InkedWarrior's Dark Shrine is about half finished. There's a buttload of lings that he's going to be facing in just a minute. Neuralisk is actually... Oh no, this is a game. This is it. Neuralisk is going to see the Dark Shrine. He's going to take it out before it even finishes. And there's really so little InkedWarrior has going for him. All he wanted was this Dark Shrine. That's it. InkedWarrior knows it as well. GG and Neuralisk. Nimbus, and it could be our final game of the night. And very much hoping it isn't, is our player up in the top right-hand corner. Orange Protoss.
Triple T, InkedWarrior.
And on the flip side, of course, we've got our player who wants this to be the last game. He wants to win it and advance onwards. Green Zerg player.
Neuralisk.
And this is really interesting because we actually have a very, very proximal pylon here for InkedWarrior. And it's, of course, like directly inside Neuralisk base. I'm not sure whether or not, pardon me, that hatchery, when it finishes, we'll be able to see the pylon. I'm just going to sort of vaguely guesstimate it using... no, I can't. Using the vision from the main hatchery. I don't think it sees it. I'm pretty sure it doesn't see it. Or Neuralisk is scouting around, though. But he's scouting around the back of the mineral line, fearful of a cannon rush. And that's not what's happening to him at all right now. He doesn't see it. He still doesn't see that pylon. So now InkedWarrior is actually... He's going to put down some photon cannons. And... Oh, Neuralisk is coming back up. No, okay. He's just actually mining on the mineral patch. So, yeah. InkedWarrior is going to throw down a couple of photon cannons. I'd like to see him throw a couple down to threaten this hatchery if he's seen it's there. Okay, InkedWarrior doesn't actually know whether or not Neuralisk is expanding yet. But once again, this a few lings arrive at InkedWarrior's base, but this time there's a zealot, there's cannons, and he defends 100%. You know, now Neuralisk finishes up his natural hatchery, but he sees some cannons there. He's going to try and build a Spinecrawler, but Spinecrawlers build slower than cannons, in fact. So those two cannons are going to be finished before the Spinecrawler is. The Queen's trying to get an angle on this. Is going to be able to chip away at this photon cannon, might be able to cancel it. But InkedWarrior could actually move down to the low ground now and start denying this the second gas. And if he does that, then it could end up really, really well. He is going to do that. I think it's a good choice because if he can trap a Zerg player on one base, one gas, there's so little that Neuralisk can do. And I don't know. There's one spine finished up. I think it is going to take out this cannon. It's close though. It does manage to take the cannon out, but that still doesn't change the fact that there's a cannon chipping away at that hatchery. The pylon's finished, and one of the queens is on 1 health. It actually could be taken out by that probe if the probe went and attacked it. It's too late though. Probe does fall down. The photon cannon isn't going to stand up to the onslaught of that queen. Not for too much longer. And Spinecrawler moving down is going to just make sure that this is kept under control as best as possible. And Neuralisk's natural base will fall. And InkedWarrior, I guess is pretty happy with that result. Of course, with all the money he's invested into these cannons, investing 450 more, in fact, because he just lost that one. Investing so much money into these cannons, into the pylons, and I mean, that's money that could have been Nexus, could have been 2 Nexuses almost. And, oh, that's interesting. InkedWarrior actually cancels his Nexus. I don't know. No, it wasn't just like some fake out because he built the gases there. He has actually changed his mind. He cancels the Nexus, throws down 2 gateways, and it's going to follow this up with some aggressive 3-gate play, or in fact 5-gate play. Once these two, and this could end up being a pretty good choice. It all depends, I think, a little bit on how Neuralisk positions his spine and where his units are. Neuralisk is currently, it looks like, moving across the map and trying to launch a counterattack. And InkedWarrior should be able to hold this with his cannon. He doesn't have a mothership core though. I think given that he's got no mothership core, it might be a little bit difficult for InkedWarrior to hold this. Neuralisk will have 4 roaches. He'll very, very easily be able to just focus down that zealot. It should die in 2 or 3 volleys from the roaches, and then he'll just sail straight past the photon cannon into the mineral line. The first round of warpins happens over in Neuralisk base. The Spinecrawler is repositioning, and either way from the high ground. Oh, it's got the vision. Spinecrawler goes down almost immediately to the Stalkers. The 4 Stalkers are going to be able to chase this queen down, and Neuralisk actually turns back around with his drones, He might be able to get us around on these. He can't quite manage to reach Stalkers. And InkedWarrior has a fantastic position here because with 3 photon cannons around this pylon, there's no way that Neuralisk is going to be getting rid of InkedWarrior's reinforcement point anytime soon. And this also buys time for InkedWarrior to reinforce at home a little bit. Even get his natural up. He's got some spare minerals, maybe not after the next warping round, but yeah, this buys InkedWarrior the time he needs to stabilize a little bit more. These 3 pylons are cutting into his attack so much because he's been very severely supply blocked, and just now getting out of that, he can start warping in with units to attack again. But Neuralisk is going to move up. They just can't contend with 3 photon cannons. The firepower they put out is far too much for his small roach force. He's trying to get his lair up as well as 10 more roaches out. When these 10 more roaches pop out and group up, he might be able to take on InkedWarrior's force. But InkedWarrior his army just keeps getting bigger. And although he can't take on Neuralisk directly, with the help of photon cannons, if Neuralisk ever attacks into this bastion he's got set up at Neuralisk's natural base location, it's going to be really difficult for Neuralisk to actually completely put an end to this push once and for all. On the other hand, he may well not have to. Neuralisk's production is more than enough to outpace InkedWarrior's. InkedWarrior is producing off of 5 gateways off 1 base, and he can't sustain that level of production. Although with the bank he's got, he will be able to keep it up for a little while. And I don't know, Neuralisk will be able to hold this for a while. If he throws down a couple of spine crawlers, he could even split off a few roaches and try and get some counterattack going. But now InkedWarrior overextends a little bit, perhaps, and he's going to take quite a bit of hull damage on some of these Stalkers and even lose one of them. And again, Neuralisk loses really very little for that. I think 1 or 2 probes, maybe. Drones, even. And now Neuralisk is sort of stabilized up here. He still has to produce units a little bit, but he can put more of his money into upgrades like road speed and like the Evo chamber, or the things that's going to be producing, and go back to droning a bit more. InkedWarrior sort of realizes he's reached a little bit of a stalemate and throws his Nexus down back at home, as well as trying to tech up a bit, get a bit more upgrades going, and get his Twilight Council, which could be for further upgrades or it could be for Dark Shrine or Blink. We'll have to find out. And Neuralisk once again stepping forwards just a little bit. And yeah, he's got a great little concave, or 2 groups of units set up at the bottom of the ramp. InkedWarrior can't move down. There's a lot of forces stuck up there. I'd really like to see Neuralisk launch some kind of counterattack. If he built a few... Ooh, sentry's going interesting. If he built a few more roaches, sent across the map, 4 or 5 roaches would do so much damage to InkedWarrior right now. Focusing down the Zealot really quickly, and then forcing warp-ins at home, forcing the photon cannon, ignoring photon cannon. It looks like Dark Shrine will be the tech choice from InkedWarrior. Neuralisk does have his lair up, so he's got the capacity for Overseers, for mobile detection, but in fact he's already got one, and he's going to see the Dark Shrine, so bada bing bada boom, that is that problem dealt with. Just with like 100 minerals, 100 gas, he can morph in a couple of Overseers, and actually he's already got one with his army even, so he's 100% safe, unless InkedWarrior tries to snipe it, which is a massive tell, of course, in and of itself. And it looks like InkedWarrior steps forward, trying to get a couple roaches, and that's his game plan. He's going to try and bait Neuralisk, go a bit too far forward, and force field him off, cut him in there with the cannons, but Neuralisk is a bit too fast for that and won't fall for it. Really well-timed Spore Crawl as well. Neuralisk knew the DT was coming. He knew what time they were going to arrive, and the Spore Crawl finishes up just a little bit before that Dark Shrine. So, getting as much mining time as he could out of that drone before actually building the Spore Crawler. He is going to relocate it to the natural as well, and to the mineral line even. And ventral sacks as well. This could get fun. That is, of course, the Overlord drop tech. We could see some Ling drops. Ling drops into the natural would easily kill the Nexus. Lings have so much DPS. There are a couple pylons there to do warpins, but a lot of Lings would do a ton of damage here. The DTs are going to be used for Archons. There's not really much point in just sending the DTs. And there's a Colossus up there. Neuralisk thinks, oh my god, how did a Colossus get up there? It's a hallucination, of course, and I'm sure he knows that, given his detection and given his excellent adaptive reasoning. But now InkedWarrior is going to try and move down here. Neuralisk moves up. A lot of the lings can't get too much surface area on this ramp, but that doesn't matter. There's so many roaches. He can get a pretty good concave just by wrapping around the ramp. And there's a little bit of an upgrade lead for Neuralisk as well. His +1 attack, and the roaches scale so well with that. Neuralisk crushes the army of InkedWarrior there, and InkedWarrior does have to retreat back up the ramp. Neuralisk not just willing to follow, not willing to follow just yet. Going to keep down the ramp. A couple changelings also being taken out, and Neuralisk knows he's in a good position here. Actually, good enough to move up the ramp. He does get there. He takes out the DT, the sneaky DT that was trying to get some damage done. I think he's actually even got enough army to just take out all the Stalkers here. And, I mean, this is all of InkedWarrior's army. He's got nothing back at home. 4 more Zealots being walked in are going to do nothing there. InkedWarrior, GG, and Neuralisk, another clean sweep.